So the other day I went to HomeSense. I found a hidden art section. They were doing a Black Friday sale. So I picked up a canvas, some acrylic paint, some paintbrushes. I went home and started painting. It was my first time painting in over 4 years. The last time I painted, I was a college freshman. I was going through a really painful time. I was extremely lonely. I just arrived in America, had a nightmare dealing with roommates. I realized I tend to turn to art when I'm going through a transformative time. But anyway, this is not what this video is about. Visual arts has always been my interest and something I excelled at. I've been very fascinated with faces since I was very young. The way it has actualized in my day-to-day life now is in the form of makeup. I do enjoy this outlet a lot. It is very fulfilling, but I stopped painting and pursuing art because, well, the big reason is everyone told me, including my Asian family, that being an artist is synonymous with being broke, and the only way I can turn this into something that's worth anything in the world is if I try to combine it with business, so marketing. And I remember saying this when I was 13. I started to think about what I would be doing in marketing, and I said to the adults who told me to stop pursuing art that marketing is manipulating people's purchasing habits, and I don't want to do that with my art for a living. And it's interesting because now I basically take sponsorships for a living. Of course, I only do so for products I believe in, but it's funny how I resisted the idea of marketing as a job and ended up being a walking ad in a way. So growing up and finding out just because you're good at something or passionate about something doesn't mean you can make a living out of it was very disappointing. Even though I had a really strong direction as a child, it was overwhelmed by this noise. And I feel like a lot of people have that really strong direction or inner voice as a child that gets conditioned out of them at an even earlier age to the point where they don't even remember as an adult what their direction or dream was. This is just my opinion, but I feel like that's why a lot of people become so confused as they grow up, because there are so many voices around them trying to suppress this childlike inclination and direction and passion towards doing something. And that's really where you get your motivation. Something that gives you pleasure and confidence, identity, a skill that you can continue to work at and develop. And people lose that trying to figure out how to be like everyone else and how to find a skill that is marketable. Trying to major in something that's going to make the most money. And a lot of the times through this process, you lose who you're really supposed to be. So I got derailed in that sense. When I started college, I found a new interest, which was philosophy. I felt the same way writing philosophy papers as I did painting on a canvas. It was a selfish choice of a major when everyone told me I would not be able to find a job with this major. I was in a lot of ways guided by pleasure and self-fulfillment, which is a very controversial, even radical philosophy for a millennial. I've always refused to major in something solely based on the promised financial value of a certain career. So I went for something that gave me personal, spiritual fulfillment, and that's what I received from my education. Then makeup came along and YouTube came along, and I got a job that gave me all the pleasure of not only artistic expression, but the freedom to do so on my own terms. And here I am 4 years into doing YouTube, picking up a paintbrush again. My reason for telling this story is that it's very difficult to find who you are, but time really will reveal to you what your true values are and who you're supposed to be. I am someone who is very wild, reckless, disorganized, stubborn, but also very unafraid to get what I want almost to a fault. I'm unafraid to try and fail and try again to get what I want out of life, and I think time revealed that to me. And I want to show you guys that I didn't know what to do with my life. I'm still not sure what I'm doing with my life. I went against the advice a lot of people gave me, but I think what's really important is you need to make choices that make you happy. If going to med school is what you truly want for yourself in your future, then don't be afraid to go for it. If college isn't for you and you want to be a full-time artist, then stop half-assing college and go fight for your future. Life is really confusing and unpredictable, but it's a little better when you're making choices that make you happy. And you know what? Things will be okay. I'll talk to you guys next week.